Hi, Dolapo. Can you hear me? Please let me know if you can hear me.
Yeah, sure, I can hear you.
Okay.
What's going
Did you
on? Why
join
can't
with
you
the
hear me?
link? Did you join with the link from the calendar invite?
Yeah, I joined with the link that we shared with our alumni people actually. Is it not the
When
same? It's the same link
you
now.
send me the link again, same it's the same
I've
link.
sent it to the group. I've sent it to the group.
Okay, thank you. Because Tosin is telling me that she's finding it difficult to join, so I want to be sure. I just sent it to
Oh,
Titi, sent to her now. So you're leading it, right?
yes.
I'll just be here to support. If you need anything, send me a message on WhatsApp. I'll be here for you both.
Okay. You can speak to now.
And that's why I just said if you need me to say anything or do anything at any point, just send me a message on WhatsApp. But I'm trying to sort out things for the Abuja Kini.
Okay, all right.
Like the price they're giving us is too high, and I'm trying to see how we can like beat it down.
Okay. All
Ah,
right.
Washama.
Well done.
Thank you.
Hi everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining this month's webinar. Please let me know if you can hear me. It's 5 o'clock now. And mention your friend on the alumni group and tell them to join in. We're about starting now. So we're just going to wait for about few minutes before we start. Let me know if you can hear me. Hi, can anyone hear me?
I can hear you.
For 5 winners from this
Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. Hello. Hi, Tosin. Welcome.
Pray for us.
Can you hear us?
The success stories will help us raise more funds, and we're going to be able to get more
Hi,
laptops.
Tosin.
Train more people across Africa. 34,000 of you are graduating today.
Olako, please, can you mute your mic?
Kindly unmute.
Noisy where you are.
I'm not sure the noise is coming from it.
Okay.
Alright,
Hi,
hold on.
Tosin. Welcome. We're so glad to have you here. I don't know. I'm trying to unmute.
I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, great. Thank you for being here. So my name is Temilola. I'm Comms Executive at Ingressive for Good. And with me is Dolapo. Dolapo is going to be hosting this webinar, of course, along with you. So you're our guest. So Dolapo, over to you.
Hi, thank you, Temilola. Thank you. Welcome, Tosin. Thank you so much for accepting to speak with our alumni on how to manage finance as a techie. Thank you, everyone, for joining. So I'm just going to do like a brief introduction about Tosin, and then she can, take over. So Tosin Olaseinde is the founder of Money Africa. Yeah, Money Africa is an edtech organization for financial literacy and investment. She's also a chartered accountant with over 10 years of experience, spanning across audit, financial accounting, corporate finance, and investment. She strives to create a tool for democratizing access and means of wealth building for millennials and Gen Zs in the long term. That's just a brief introduction about what Tosin is. Thank you so much, Tosin. Please go ahead.
Hi everyone, how you doing? My name is Oluwatosin Olaseinde. I'll be your
Thank you
host for today. So approximately how many minutes do we have?
We have about 30 to 40 minutes.
Okay, 30 minutes. Okay, great. So we're just going to jump right into it. Just before we proceed, can you guys just give me a feel of what your expectations are for this session? So just come to the comment section and let me know what you anticipate, what you're expecting, amongst others. Guys, please let's make this interactive. I can see Abiodun, I can see Damilola, Gideon, Sean, Taiwo, Zochuku. Just come into the comments chat box. Just let me know what your expectations are for today. That would also guide, how we go ahead with the slides. There's no wrong answer. Every answer is welcome. So just come into the comment section, let me know. All right, cool. Let me jump right into it then. I'm sharing my slides with you. Sorry, just a minute. Great. So we're going to take approximately about 30 minutes. Let me time myself, 17:06. And just talk to us about personal finance. My name is Oluwatosin. I started Money Africa, I think about 3.5 years ago. I got my first job at the age of 20, and for the first 5 years of my career, I mismanaged my finances. I was living from hand to mouth. I had to educate myself again about money, and once I got the education, I wanted to educate other people about it. And that's one of the primary reasons why we started Money Africa and we're doing what we do. So what are the things I learned differently? Number one, what is your financial goal? Just being able to clearly articulate what your financial goal is very important. Now, there are 3 different kinds of goals. You have a short-term goal, you have a medium-term goal, and you have a long-term goal. Your short-term goal basically is just talking about, what do you want in the short term? How do you want to achieve it? This is anything less than a year. Your medium-term goal is from 1 year or 2 years to 5 years, while your long-term goal is from 5 years and above. Now, these conversations are very, very important because if you do not set a goal, then how do you get there? So it's very important for you to be able to articulate, what are my goals and how do I want to get there? It's extremely important. So now that's basically about financial goals. So if you do not take anything from this class, please, when you get home, You might be at home. At the end of this session, just take a pen and a paper and write down what those goals are. Sort of forces you to think, forces you to organize, forces you to think about things differently. It's a very extremely important conversation. Now, what are the things we're going to talk about today is wealth and mindset as a result of choices. Do I need a budget? Risk and return, asset classes, drawing up a financial plan, and portfolio diversification. Of course, because we have 30 minutes, we won't be able to go into everything, but we'll touch on a couple of them. So what do you think wealth is as a result of? Is it as a result of your mindset or as a result of your knowledge? Can you come to the comment section and just let me know, please? Is wealth as a result of your mindset or is it as a result of your knowledge? I'd like to know. What do you think? Wealth is a mindset. Okay. Tyler says wealth is a mindset. Any other person? Abiodun says, I think wealth has to do with a mindset. Yes, you guys are correct. Personal finance is wealth, is mindset is 80% of building wealth, and knowledge is 20% of building wealth. So mindset carries a more significant portion of it, and that is why we're very aggressive about building your mindset. You need to go read a book by Bill Gates. It's called Inside the Brain of Bill Gates. It just basically shows you how his mind is wired, how he thinks, how he processes things, amongst others. So it's a very, 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 very amazing show on Netflix. You have to go and watch it. So if you want to look at people that are wealthy, look at how they respond to crisis, look at how they think. There was a book, I mean, before Donald Trump became the president, I used to be a fan of his books, not so much now. And I remember I was reading sometimes then, he had gone into bankruptcy, his companies failed, he had to start again. Guess what? He bounced back. He bounced back and reached a very high height again. They did a research that if they were to give everybody, but to collect the money from everybody in the world and give everybody again $1,000 each, guess what? That the same people that are wealthy today will most likely continue to
Hi, can anyone still hear Tosin?
No.
Okay, I think
No.
I think she left. Okay, so while we wait for her to join back again, um, do you mind anyone sharing? Like she mentioned that wealth is 80% of your mindset and 20% of knowledge. What do you think about that? Can you share what you think that means to you? What does that interpret to you?
So, can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So I think it has to do with state of mind because, because your state of mind really matters when you are gathering wealth, and like what she stated that if you should give everybody $1,000 or so, that the people that are wealthy today are most likely going to be the ones that we end up becoming more wealthy at the end of the day. So I think that's to do with the state of mind. So and the mindset towards money and wealth itself. So I think probably the way people are brought up and the kind of environment they're exposed to, they will determine their view towards wealth. So that's what I think.
Yeah, interesting answer. I totally agree with you. Yeah. Esther told me to take the question. I asked that what she mentioned that wealth is 80% mindset and 20% of the knowledge that you have. So what does that interpret to you? What does that mean to you? And I totally love your response. I mean, like, I don't know who spoke for you talking about like it is people that are actually wealthy that might continue like that might stay wealthy because of the knowledge that they have and the environment that they are exposed to, which is completely true. um, does anyone have another contribution, maybe a contrary opinion to what has been said now? Or what do you think about that statement? Anybody else, please? Who's going next? Okay, maybe I'm just going to call somebody. Abiodun Lamidi. So if I give you $1,000 right now, what are you going to do with it? Like, how are you going to spend it? Let me know. Let us know. Hi, if you're speaking, your mic is muted. Can you unmute yourself and share? Anybody actually, if I give you $1,000 right now, you don't even know if I have $1,000 to give you. So let me know how you're going to spend it. Let me know. Let me see how we think how we can handle money.
Okay, hi. If I was given $1,000, I would actually split it into half. So 50% will go to my wants and my needs, while the remaining 50% would go to my 50% is going to go to my needs and my savings, while the remaining 50% is going to go into my investment portfolio. That's me investing in my um low risk, mid risk, and high risk investments. Yeah, so that's basically how I'll just spend the money.
Interesting. Interesting. Are you setting apart any funds for like emergency? Or your savings, are they going to be like long term
Yeah.
or short term? Or do you have plans for your savings, or you're just dumping the money there for
Yeah.
whatever comes up? Or you have like you create a budget around your money?
Okay, yeah. So I think the savings would just be for like maybe emergency funds and probably like if I have anything I want to get, like let's say a new phone, a new laptop, it could just go towards saving towards achieving that goal. Yeah.
Interesting response. Thank you so much. Anybody else? Okay, maybe I'm just going to call somebody else now. Um, Uzochukwu. So okay, I asked that if I give any one of you $1,000, how are you going to spend it? How are you going to like make use of the money? How are you going to, spend the money basically?
Can I share mine?
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
Okay. So right now, one of my main spontaneous goal right now is to be able to travel to a couple of countries in the next, say, 12 months. And if I have $1,000, I guess that's where most of it would go to. But that doesn't mean that I probably would not save or something. But I guess Tosin would, give us the best advice on how best to manage our finances and money. I think she's here now. Hello. Hi,
Hi
Tosin.
guys.
Thank you.
Sorry, I used the fiber and I think it tripped off and then we're just basically trying to bring it back up. Great. So I'm just gonna share my screen again. I will just go back to where we were.
Mm-hmm.
Can you please enable me to be able to share my screen? It says host of disabled participants screen sharing.
Yes, on it.
Okay, great. It still says host of disabled. Fantastic. I'm able to get on now. Fantastic. So we're talking about mindset, and I'd already spoken about big gates and how this is like very important. It's very important to be very honest. If you want to start your personal finance journey, please pick up this book by Morgan Housel. It's called The Psychology of Money. It's a very good place to start. If you struggle with the mindset, you keep going around in circles. So that's why you see a lot of people, they live in Lekki, they drive a good car. If they were to lose their job within 3 days, they'll be back to their parents' house, or they'll be back, as soon as their rent expires, they'll be back, to where they were prior to that. And we don't want that. So if you don't take care of your mindset, you just be going around in circles, and nobody wants that. It's like, think of this, it's like going to the hospital, you have an infection, right? And then they put a plaster over it. They don't wash the wound, they don't treat the wound, they just put a plaster over it. That's what happens when people start investing without treating their mind, because it's going to fester, it's going to rot from the inside, it's not going to heal. So you keep going back for them to treat it, because we never went, we did not go after the real issue first. So this is my holy grail, and I swear by it. All right, great. Let's go to the next slide. Sorry. Achieving financial independence is actually very slow. I was reading on the media today, a couple of young people raised $20 million for a business that does not even have any revenue. So every other day, we listen to the radio or watch on TV, or we read on Instagram, or even on websites. Somebody raised $20 million, somebody raised $10 million, very young people doing great things. Now, because we hear this so often, we start thinking that it is common, but in actual fact, it is rare. As of 3 years ago, only less than 100 women in the whole world had raised $1 million. That's just to show you how rare it is, right? So if you look at companies that make $1 million in revenue, then they're a minority, right? Where am I going with all of this long explanation? Every time we're looking at the statistics, only 1% of the entire population in the whole world have $1 million or more. So where am I going? If you have all the stats, you see what you're fighting up against. So people saying that I want to have $1 million in my entire life, it's just 1% of the entire population. Just 56.1 million people in the whole world actually have over $1 million, right? $1 million or more. So where am I going? It is rare. It is rare. It's not a normal occurrence. So every time you're thinking about financial independence, number one, you need to define it for you, right? Some people don't want children, right? So the minute they don't want children, you see that their cost automatically goes down a bit, right? I'm not saying don't have kids, just basically talking about the numbers. So when that happens, how they are planning for retirement changes, because they don't have to pay for Oxford University school fees or pay for the top secondary schools in Nigeria and all of that. It changes the game. Some people want to retire at 40. Some people just want a small beach house close to the water. Some people just want to be able to have a garden and have a yard. That's all they want. So it depends from people to people. Every time we watch the media, it sort of influences your decisions. For instance, my sister does not care for traveling, right? So even when she has the resources, she's not thrilled by the fact that, oh my gosh, I'm going to go to London, I'm going to go to Dubai. I, on the other hand, I love travel. I can live for traveling. Where am I going? Financial independence is personal. It's like an underwear. What will fit me might not fit the other person. So you have to go, if you see a lot of people, they keep talking about it. If you do not wear the right underwear for you, it's not going to fit properly. It's going to cost you. Sometimes it will pain or make you even feel uncomfortable, right? So it has to be personal. Money is a very personal conversation. So what does financial independence mean to me and how am I going to get there? So it's a very, very personal conversation. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is how do you get there? So we love to use the scenario, and I want you to come to the comment section. If I was investing 20,000 Naira on a monthly basis, I finished NYSC, I'm a 25-year-old woman. I'm giving you a scenario. I finished NYSC, I'm a 25-year-old woman. I'm investing 20,000 Naira every month, and I'm getting 10% per annum, right? How much would I have by the time I hit retirement with that same amount of money? Can you come into the comment section and try, chat box and try? I know there's a right answer, but I want to hear from you. Let me know, please. What do you guys think? Can you come to the chat box, please? I'm a 25-year-old woman. I finished NYSC. I'm doing NYSC. They're paying me 100K every month, right? And I'm investing 20,000 Naira every month. I'm getting 10% per annum. If I continue to do that till I hit retirement, how much am I going to have? I need to know. How much do you think that's going to be? There's a right answer, but guys, you have to try. Somebody says a lot. Of course, it's a lot. You have to put it into the comment section. You know why this is important? I want to see how your brain is processing how compounding works. Remember, don't worry about the right answer. You just give me what your thoughts are. It's your thoughts that actually matters. I want to know what you think about that money. Faith Okolo says millions. Give me a number. Give me a number, guys. I'm investing 20,000 Naira every month. I'm 25-year-old. I'm making 10% per annum. For the next 45 years, how much would I have when I hit retirement? Come on, guys. If we don't get this question, we're not going to the next one. You just have to try. You just have to try. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Okay, now we are talking. Okolo Faith says 54 million. Next person. Star says 5 million. Come on, we are good to go. Uzochukwu says 1.7 million. Thank you. Finally, we have 3. Adedolakma says 32 million. Can I shock you? Ta-da! 211 million. That's how much you make by doing that. 211 million. Now, the reason why we do what we do, and we've spent a good part of our mission educating people about their money, is just because of how compounding works. Compounding is very important. It's very essential. It compounds over time. Now, imagine if you're changing this money periodically into dollars, right? Because we do not know that when we hit retirement, the Naira to the dollar might be 5,000 Naira to the dollar. It might be 10,000 Naira to the dollar. So very important that a portion of that money is also going towards what? Towards dollar-denominated assets. And that is why it's important. So every time people argue and they say, Tosin, I'm not making a lot of money. How do I start? I'm like, girl, hold on. Even with 20K, getting 10% per annum, compounding it, you're going to have 211 million by the time you hit retirement. So the more reason why you should be very intentional about actually investing that money, because it adds up. Now, this is just a Naira. Imagine if we're now putting it in dollars. So you're now gaining from Naira, like you're getting your like 10% annually, and you're also now getting it in dollars. So let's say you were investing at some point, it was 500 Naira to the dollar. At some point, as you're growing older, a time is going to come, it's going to be 750 Naira to the dollar. A time is going to come, it's going to be 1,000 Naira to the dollar. A time is going to come, it's going to be 1,500 Naira to the dollar. But when you hit retirement, when it's like 5,000 Naira to the dollar, you're changing all your money back. you can see that you've gained. So you've not only gained from the 10% interest per annum, you're also now gaining from the naira to the dollar depreciation. So if there's anything you take away from this, it's that I want you to start investing early. Now, if you look at this graph, I don't know if you can see my arrow. At age of 20s, like in your 20s, I'm saying 25, right? We can see that it's about 211 million. Now, if you were to do it in your 30s, so let's say you're 35, it's 76 million. So just by the virtue of you waiting for 10 years, you would lose 135 million. Now, people say, oh my gosh, Tosin, I'm in my 30s, I'm too late. It's too late for me. No, that's not true. You just have to double your hustle. If you look at the other brackets where it's saying that it's 191 million, you can catch up. So you can catch up to that person just by doing 50K because you do not start at 20K in your 20s. You can do 100K, you even double cross that person that started earlier. So you can catch up. So if I did not start early, how can I catch up? I didn't start in my 20s, I'm in my 30s, how can I catch up? You should be doing $150, you should be doing like $100 to $150 because you want to beat that person that started 10 years ago. You have to make up for that time. Great. So I love money, I love numbers, because if you're going on a journey and you don't know where the destination is taking you, you can't picture it, right? And once you can't picture it, then we have a very big problem. You need to be able to see it, because if you're going on that journey and you say, oh my gosh, I'm walking towards a milli, I'm walking towards 500K, it changes the entire game, right? So if you even look at we all work for different companies and we have things we are chasing. You might want 100 subscribers, you might want $1 million in revenue. Every company has different things they're chasing. And once you're able to identify what you're chasing, then it's able to give you like a better result. Are we together? Great. So let's go. Now, there are 4 categories of people that save or invest. We have people that do not save. I'm not talking about Mama Ebuka that is at or Mama Tosin that is at the street selling yam or selling rice and beans. I'm not talking about her. She's struggling. She's barely making any money. I'm talking about you and I, that you have a job, you have a roof over your head, you can buy cocktail, what else do people do on social media again? They go for all these nice hangouts. They take cocktails, they dress up, they buy 5K dresses from Instagram vendors. You can do all of those really nice things, right? But the ones I'm talking about, where you're actually not doing any form of saving or investment, you fall under category 1. We have category 2, you're saving 2 liters. 70 liters, you can do more, you're saving 2 liters. You have category 3, you're saving to buy, to consume. So you save to buy a car, you save to pay rent, you save to go on holiday. Now, those things are not bad within themselves because you actually need it to survive, right? Because nobody comes to this world to suffer. You don't want to make all this money and then you have nothing to show for it. So I'm not advocating that you do not make any expense. It's okay, buy that nice bag, buy that gorgeous dress, that's fine. But the category 4 are people that are investing in the long run. You're investing in real estate, you're investing in startups, you're investing in treasury bills, you're investing in dollar-denominated fund. That is where you need to be at. And now you need to meet for category 4. So some people are transitioning from category 1 to category 4, from category 2 to category 4, from category 3 to category 4. But the entire place you actually have to be at is category 4. Then the next question you're asking, how do we get there? Great. So we have risk and returns, we have budgeting. I won't be able to go through everything, so I'm just going to jump right into, because I've got like 15 more minutes. I'm just going to jump right into where do we actually start investing when that happens. So the very first one, we have fixed deposit and savings, right? The inflation rate in Nigeria, once upon a time, it used to be 13.7%. As of today, it's about 18.9%. We've seen the highest inflation rate we haven't seen in 20 years. It's crazy. What does that mean to you? Inflation is a thief, it's still everything your money gives you in terms of investment, you're looking for a good investment that can return it back to you. Now we have to be very careful in the sense that in the bid to get back what inflation has stolen from you, you don't want to risk your capital. So now people are saying, oh my gosh, inflation rate is 19%. What's an investment that will give me 19%? You might not find it, especially that it's guaranteed. It's not there. You most likely find things giving you like 10% or 12%, which is actually okay, right? In the sense that you might not find an investment that is guaranteed. Now, how you can actually get that amount that inflation is stealing back is for you to actually wait in the long run. So you're putting your money in stock market, you're putting your money in euro bond, you're basically diversifying and you're playing the long-term game. In the long run, it's actually going to work out. Cryptocurrency, amongst others. So the next one is treasury bills. Treasury bills is like It's like the government coming to you to say, hey guys, I need some money, I need some cash, right? The returns are not that great. It was 1% in November 2020. As of today, we're seeing it about 6%, 7%. Compared to the 19% of inflation rate, dude, it's really low. You have some government bonds that are also doing about 9% there. About the return is actually really still quite low. So what is the distinctive feature of a treasury bill is that it's less than a year, whereas a government bond is more than 2 years or 2 years and more. So government bonds are more for infrastructure. So I'm talking about, I want to build a bridge, I want to build a hospital, I want to get a Sukuk bond in order to build an infrastructure, the train, I want a train from Abuja to Lagos. That'll be fantastic, right? So those are the kind of things that government bonds goes towards infrastructure. And it's about 10%, but it's long term, right? So you'll be getting your returns every quarter. Now it gets really interesting. So let's say, for instance, that the situation of the economy gets really worse and inflation goes to like 30%, you'll probably say, Tosin, you're exaggerating. It's possible. Sudan's inflation is like 360% mad, right? So when this happens, you then be saying, maybe I should have not bought this government bond because now the situation in the market has changed and I'm now still tied to 10%. I'm going to be very honest with you. As young people that do not have a lot of money, I might not advocate for government bonds for you because of the duration and sometimes how it ties you into it. I'd rather something a bit more flexible or something that is long-term and dollar denominated, right? Okay, let's move. Commercial papers are more for institutions. So Dangote Cement, Lafarge, which other big companies are out there, Sterling Bank, they're like, oh, we want to issue a commercial paper, is 16% per annum, or is that percent per annum? And then you have this commercial paper, right? Now, they're usually for 270 days. You're like, why is it 270 days? Now, the argument is this. Number one, it's not unique to Nigeria. Across the world, commercial papers are for 9 months, right? So the argument is this. The government is trying, or the system is trying to protect people. So they don't want a situation whereas a company knows that they are going to go bust, they quickly issue out commercial papers and then boom, they start announcing the media, oh, we are in trouble, we are unable to pay back, So that's why they always issue 9 months, that for you to die within 9 months, that means that the cancer has really festered. So it's like the way for them to sort of protect us, to ensure that within 9 months we get our money back and then we can go in again, do you understand? And then just continues like that. But every 9 months you get your money back. All right, great. Minimum is usually 5 million naira. So just speak to your financial institutions. Mutual funds. Mutual fund is like rice. I use this example all the time. Think of this. You have jollof rice, you have vegetable rice, you have local rice or palm oil rice for those that went to universities that they stayed on campus. You must have made palm oil with rice and local fish. Now, how do you determine this? If you put rice into tomato sauce, it becomes jollof rice. If you put rice into coconut sauce, it becomes coconut rice. If you put rice into palm oil and dry fish, it becomes local rice. And that's what mutual fund is. Mutual fund is defined by what you dip it into. Right? What you dip it into determines the kind of fund it is. So now a lot of people think that because it's a mutual fund, you will never lose money. That's not true. If they invest it in things that could lose money, like the stock market, you would lose money. You could lose money. So not you would, it's not determined. You could, right? So there are different kinds of mutual funds. So just always ask your financial service provider what that fund is going to. Is it going inside coconut? Is it going inside palm oil? Is it going inside, you just want to know what type. Then you'll be able to know, am I going to lose money? Am I not going to lose money? All right, we got to wrap up. The next one is stocks. I love stocks. I feel everybody should be invested in the stock market. Risk and return is very key. Warren Buffett bought his first stock at the age of 11. It earned via capital appreciation and dividends. Very important conversation, very important conversation, very important conversation. Now, a lot of people always ask, Tosin, is every stock going to give me a dividend? That's not true. Dividends are usually paid by companies that are not fat, right? So companies that are fat, they're fat, they've been on the market, they're nice and robust. So you're talking about your Zenith Banks and GTB, Coca-Cola, Walmart, they've been on the market for years, right? Pepsi, they pay you good dividend, right? Because they're nice and comfortable. For instance, Apple was sitting down on over, I think, about $50 billion cash. I need to check that amount again. That's how nice, fat, and healthy those companies are, so they can afford to pay you dividend. But if you look at a growing company, right, a nice small growing, there's a company in the US called Upstart. It uses artificial intelligence to help people to pay their loans. And there is no way in hellfire that company is paying you dividend, because their priority is that they want to expand. They want to go all over America. They want to come to Africa. They want to expand. They need money. They can't be giving you back. Do you get? So that's how you're able to see. So if I'm not making money by dividend, how else will I make money? Capital appreciation. I bought my share for 10 naira. It's now 20 naira. I bought my stock for $2. It's now $5. So that's pretty much it. Now, what stocks can I buy in Nigeria? It depends, guys. It depends. We did a 10-year challenge, and this was the results. One is a nonsense stock. People that invested in it have nothing to show for it. You see stocks like Stanbic, good. Nestle, very good. GTB, fair. Zenith Bank, fair, right? So, but like, just stay away. So, like, you've seen them insurance, they didn't do a great job. You've seen Transcorp, they didn't do a great job. Access Bank as well, they didn't do a great job. So numbers don't lie. If you're going to put your money in something, you might as well learn about it, right? So very important to learn. Okay, guys, I'm going to start wrapping up, right? I think, let me just quickly touch on this. This is not 1.4 billion though. It is $14 million, 14 million naira. If you had invested in Netflix 14 years ago, you would have gotten 1,450% return, and you'd have had 14 million naira just from 100K. 100K. That's money for 2 Ashwebis. That's money for about 14 years ago. That's a trip to Dubai and some accommodation. That money is now 14 million naira. So where am I going? Invest in the long run. 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 So I'm going to tell a story about a lady. It's my favorite story, just basically showing you how investment works. Her name is Grace Groner. She was orphaned at the age of 12. She never married. She never had kids. She never drove a car. She lived alone in one bedroom house and worked her whole life as a secretary. She was, by all accounts, a lovely, lovely lady. People knew her, and they always, so when she lived a humble life. She lived a humble life that made $7 million. She left to charity after death in 2010. At the age of 100, all the more confusing. So people started asking, where did Grace get all that money? Imagine you leaving $7 million to charity as a woman that was a secretary, make it make sense. But there was no secret. There was no inheritance. Grace took humble savings from a meager salary and enjoyed on hands of compounding the stock market. That was it. Now, the weeks after Grace died, an unrelated investing story hit the news. Richard Foscone was a former vice chairman of Merrill Lynch Latin America division. He declared bankruptcy, fighting off foreclosure on 2 homes, one of which was nearly 20,000 square meters. Do you guys know how much 20,000 square meter is? He had a $66,000 a month mortgage. Mad! Foscone, opposite of Grace Groner, he was educated at Harvard and University of Chicago. He became so successful in the investment that he retired in his 40s to pursue personal and charitable interests, but heavy borrowings and illiquid investments didn't in. The same year, Grace Groner left a veritable fortune to charity. Richard stood before a bankruptcy judge and declared, I have been devastated by the financial crisis. All I have is what my wife will be able to sell in personal furnishing. In what other field does somebody with no education, no relevant experience, no resources, no connections, vastly outperform someone with a Harvard degree? Make it make sense. The best resources and the best connections. There would never be a story of a Grace Groner, right? Hold on. There will never be a story of a Grace Groner performing a heart surgery better than a Harvard-trained cardiologist, or building a faster chip than Apple's engineer. It's unthinkable. But it is only in the stories that it happens in terms of investment. That's because investing is not a study of finance, it's the study of how people behave with money. And we've said this multiple times, even at the beginning of it. Behavior is hard to teach. Even to really, really smart people, you see smart people, they've seen money all their lives, but they don't have much to show for it. You can't sum up behavior with formulas to memorize or spreadsheet models to follow. behavior is inborn and it varies by person to person. So if there's anything that we're going to teach you out of this, we're teaching you that you please join communities, people that remind you monthly that you have to invest, and you have to invest right, you have to do it properly. It's very important that you actually do it properly, right? That you're building the long run, and it's not as hard as people make it out to be, right? So that's basically my message for you guys. I hope you had a great session listening to me, and I hope you take your finances into your hands, you take charge of yourself, you remind yourself of this woman that was a secretary that lived in the one-bedroom apartment, and she does not have the access or the resources that a lot of people that are listening to me do. She might have not even had a degree, we do not know, right? She came from a very humble, very poor background, and she did that as a secretary. How much more you, with better opportunities and most likely better jobs? Thank you so much. My name is Oluwatosin Olaseinde. I'm the founder of Money Africa. Toodles, that's it.
Thank you so much, Tosin. That was awesome. Thank you. I just want to give room for like few questions from our members. Does anyone have any question to ask Tosin before she leaves? Anybody?
I needed to quickly get part of this cohort that are launching today. It's still the same iteration of cohort 1. They're starting from beginner to like novice to intermediary.
Does anyone have any question?
It's still the same structure. So
You
it's
can
still the
type
same
it in
of
chat.
beginner to intermediary. Okay, and then it's just the internship that. So just the HNJ internship that at the end of the whole cohorts that people can now apply. Hello.
Hanifa,
Hello,
please mute your mic.
Hanifa. All right. Thank you so much, Tosin. I mean, like, we're all striving to get to that category for investing in dollars and investing long term. And thank you. I was going to ask that even if you're not any like for entry level for graduates that are just like starting out in their life, their career, they are not earning as much, but at least like you touched the basis on that aspect particularly, and it was very, very awesome. So I'm just going to ask one last time if anyone have any question before we wrap up.
Please, I have a question.
All right, please go ahead.
I'm actually wanted to ask, like, I liked how she touched on the aspect of like being a 25-year-old NYSC student, or sorry, NYSC copper or whatever, and like, you know, you're trying to like invest like some part of your money, but like I didn't really get that part of like how to know like the right places to like invest your money into.
Okay, so there are so many places to invest your money out there. There are so many. I personally don't like to do referrals without understanding where or how and things like that. However, I'll just give you two summaries. You can invest in dollar-denominated funds, right? So it allows you to start saving in dollars. You can be earning anywhere from 6 to 7%. And you can also start investing in the stock market. A good place to start is an ETF, right? It covers 500 of the largest S&P 500 ETF. It covers 500 of the largest companies in the world. There are so many apps out there that let you do it. I preferably will not be calling which app or whatnot app, but if you want to invest, the dollar-denominated fund is a good place to start. And also an S&P 500 ETF is also a good place to start.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Tosin. Okay, someone is asking, can we get a copy of the slides presentation?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem about that. All right, thank you everyone. Thank you so much for joining. It was really, really amazing, awesome. The recording will be uploaded and shared with our alumni community. That's all. Be coming to the end of this webinar. Thank you so much, Tosin. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, guys. Thank you, guys. Somebody's asking, the money deposited into the dollar account, would it be black market or standard rate? The truth is nobody is getting standard rates. If we could all get standard rates, we'll use it. They would definitely take black market because at the end of the day, right? It's demand and supply. If they also had standard rates, they would have used it. So it's definitely going to be black market rates. All right, guys. Thank you for having me. Have a fantastic weekend. Take
You
care.
too, Tosin. You guys, please, before you go, I just want to mention one last thing. Tosin has shared so much with us today, and it would be nice if we could thank her by tweeting something about this event. Tweet one thing that you've learned from this event and tag Tosin Olaseinde, tag Ingressive for Good, and we'll make sure that we share every single tweet. All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Fauzi. Bye bye, everyone.